Om. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamatsyaadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhasha Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanityam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. Okay, so we are going to begin a new topic. It's number 66, verse is 398. 473 page number in my book, in my copy. And the topic is no diversity in reality. So before I start chanting the verse, I want to draw your attention to the last paragraph of Gurudev's commentary on this verse. These ideas are very often repeated by Shankara so that the student may catch them and their total effect, which ends in the comprehension of the transcendental reality, the light of life. So I'm sure that all of you are feeling, I mean, I myself am feeling that there is a lot of repetition. And I already told you, like, just like when we teach our little kids, we do repeat a lot of things because, you know, they're not that mature enough. And where Bhagwan Shankaracharya is concerned, we are also children, kindergarten children. So we need repetition. These ideas need to be hammered into us because they need to be assimilated. They have to become one with us. And what I mean by they have to become one with us is in our day-to-day life, when we face situations, we must be able to bring this knowledge out at that moment. Otherwise, it is only information. It is in our head, but if we can't bring it out, cannot use it, if we cannot make use of it to help us to regain our poise, if some sorrow hits us or something, you know, if we cannot make use of that knowledge to console ourselves, to be independent, this is what the knowledge does. The knowledge makes you independent. You really don't need to depend on anybody else. You only depend on the knowledge. So you depend on the knowledge means you tap into that knowledge and you get your source strength from there. So until that happens, the knowledge has to be, the information has to be repeated until it becomes knowledge for us. Okay. And that is why the repetition is there. So I've explained to you before also, but wherever now there is, because these ideas have already been gone through, I will go through them pretty fast. If there is any additional explanation required, then of course we can go into it, or you can ask. But otherwise, it's going to be pretty fast. Swatmanyaropita shesha abhasavastu nirasatah swayameva param brahma purnam advayam akriyam. When the apparent existences superimposed on the self are removed, then what remains is the supreme Brahman, the infinite, non-dual, that which is beyond all activities, alone, all by itself. And again, I draw your attention to the snake and rope example that we have been giving forever. Once I walk into the room, it is dimly lit, I see the snake, I am afraid, but when my friend walks in and just turns the light on, the snake immediately disappears, and what remains is the rope, which was there already. It's not like the snake converts into the rope. The rope was already there. It wasn't being recognized by myself, and therefore I was afraid of the snake. That is the same idea. He says when the apparent existence is superimposed, when the apparent snake superimposed on the rope is removed. So these existences, what is it? The computer is existing, the calendar is, the photo is, the room is, the wall is, this, you are, I am. Even the body is an apparent superimposition on the self. Okay, so when these, that's why apparent word is very, it is apparent, it is not real, it is appearing. It is only appearing. It appears as real to us because we can perceive these things. We can see, we can taste, we can smell, touch, hear. But we have to use, when we use our jnana chakshu, what is jnana chakshu? The intelligence that is telling me that the sky is not blue. Sky is appearing very blue. Okay, so the intelligence which is telling me that not only it is not blue, there is actually nothing like sky, that faculty, when it is invoked, then these apparent existences which are only a superimposition, and once that is removed, what remains is Brahman. It is not that nothing will remain. It is not like that. Same way, when the body, mind, and intellect are transcended, what remains is the self and self alone, which all by itself, because actually even right now, it is all alone. Even right now, the rope is a rope only. Even when I'm seeing the snake, the rope is rope. The rope has not become snake, but I do see the snake. Okay, because of my ignorance. So same way, I am seeing all these different objects. Nana, Kathopanishad calls it. I see this huge variety of things existing in the world. And when those apparent existences are removed, when will that happen? When I transcend the mind. Because they are happening because of my mind. How do I know that? Because in deep sleep, they are not there. When the mind is folded, there is no world. That's why I know that when my mind wakes up, this world comes into existence. So the way to negate the world, to understand that it's an illusion, is either you go into a deep sleep, but then that is not giving you any knowledge, because when you wake up, the world is still there, or you transcend the mind itself in the waking state, which is samadhi, which we saw in the earlier test. Okay, so any differences that you see are only apparent. They are appearing. They are not real. Samahitayam sati chitta vrittau paratmani brahmani nirvikalpe na drishyate kaschidayam vikalpaha prajalpamatra parishishyate yataha. When the functions of the mind, the thoughts have merged in the Paramatman, the Brahman, the Absolute, then this phenomenal world is not perceived. Then all becomes mere talk. So, like I told you, this world is being perceived because of the mind, because even senses cannot do it, and we have seen that. I'm walking and my mind is completely today I was walking, and from other side Raj came. She used to attend classes. Now she has got a really newborn grandchild, so she's busy with that, and she didn't even see me, and I'm like, Raj, and she's like, oh my God. So if the mind is not there, you cannot perceive the world. She was walking from that side, I am walking from this side, but she was deep in thought. So mind is not there, like in deep sleep. World is not there because the mind is not there. So this was it. When the thought flow is quietened in the contemplation of Brahman. Now, thought flow is quietened even in deep sleep, but that is no good because in deep sleep, no knowledge is happening. Only there is ignorance. There is absence of thought. We don't want absence of thought. We want to transcend the thought. And that has to be done in the waking state. This is just like you're dreaming. And the minute you wake up, you come to know that the dream was an illusion. So that is what we want to do. The pluralistic, the thoughts have merged in the Paramatman, in Samadhi, which was the earlier topic. So how do you get into Samadhi? Is by negating, not physically destroying, but transcending the body, the mind, and the intellect. And then when you fix your thought on Aham Brahmasmi, single pointed thought, as you think, so shall you become. Okay, so the mind has to be merged in Brahman. Merged means there is, please remember that there is not a separate mind and a separate Brahman. It's not like that. Mind itself is Brahman. Mind merging in Brahman means only removing the thoughts which are going on in the mind. The substratum of the mind is Brahman. And on top, there is a dance of these thoughts. There are so many thoughts that we now forget the substratum. Best example is movie. We get so caught up in the movie that we forget that there is a screen behind it. So once the movie stops, then we suddenly see the screen behind, which was there always, and without which the movie could not have been seen. So when the thoughts are stopped, chitta vritti nirodha, sati chitta vrato paramatmani brahmani nirvikalpa. Make your mind devoid of thoughts. And what will shine forth is Brahman, is the self. Okay? The is not, then all becomes means any talk about the phenomenal world is useless, because once you recognize it to be an illusion, I've given you this example. It's like me talking about the $1 million that I won in the dream. What good is that talk? I can go on talking about it till the cows come home, but there's no, that is what is happening if the mind gets merged in Brahman. This whole world will appear as an illusion. And you say, what is there to talk about that illusion? What is that? But right now we give it so much reality. Everything is very real to us. So we talk about it a lot. So that's why he's saying the world, then all becomes mere talk. There's nothing to talk about. In the Shastra, that's why one Mahatma had come, two things I'll tell you. One Mahatma had come to Sandipani when I was studying, and he was like 90 plus. And he was given 45 minutes to talk. And in 45 minutes, he actually literally exactly in the 45th minute, he had completed the entire topic of Vedanta from 0 to 45 minutes, full complete. Then our Acharya, there was a student with him, a brahmachari. So our Acharya told the brahmachari, please tell us about this Mahatma. So when he took the mic, the Mahatma said, remember one thing, if you talk about anything other than Vedanta, you are insulting Saraswati Devi. His face, I'm telling you, I still cannot forget that. It's just like, you know how your blood drains from your face? He's like, that means what he told, don't talk about where I was born, where I grew up, when I got that's it. You have insulted Saraswati if you talk about me, because me means it's not the self. Now he's going to talk about the body. Like, where is this Mahatma from? His original, this thing, what his parents did, what he did, what is the need? There is no need. The other thing that Shastra also says, there are two things. There is one is called bhukti and one is called mukti. Bhukti is material prosperity. So prosperity in the outside world, your money, your wealth, whatever. Mukti is moksha, liberation. So Shastra says that whatever talk that you are talking, whoever, you must think, is this talk going to give me bhukti? Like, is he going to give me ideas where I can increase my wealth, those type of things? Or is it going to give me mukti? Either it has to give me bhukti or it has to give me mukti. And if it is neither, don't participate. What is the point? There is no point. That's why our Swamijis are so, what is the point in talking? We are just, that's what he's saying. Then it's all mere talk, because the whole thing is an illusion. The world is an illusion. Remember that. So, of course, it doesn't mean that, you don't do your daily work, but don't get unnecessarily caught up in talks which are neither giving you material prosperity, nor are they giving you spiritual emancipation. That's why satsang becomes very important. In Narad Bhakti Sutra, he says, Dussanga tyajaha, sarvata tyajaha. What is dussanga? Dussanga is that which is not giving you spiritual emancipation. So it's not that we are saying bad people. Dussanga is not bad people. Extroverted people is dussanga. Those who are extremely extroverted, those who are only talking about the material world. Then in that you say, okay, he's talking about but he is giving me ideas as to how I can increase my wealth. So I better listen, because at least that is going to give me some sort of material prosperity in the world. But if that is not happening, so that eliminates gossip. That's why we saw in that chapter, Vachik Tapa, first thing is to avoid gossip. But gossip is not giving you bhukti and neither is it giving you mukti. So don't do it. No. So this is, well, when you understand that. And here he has given the example of the dream fear, which also I had given you before. A person is dreaming and he's screaming, save me, save me, save me from the tiger. There is a person who is awake in the room. What is that person who is awake? What is he going to do? What can he do? Because there is no tiger. There is no real tiger there, right? But this person is screaming. So the only thing is that person has to wake up. Once we wake up, the talk about the tiger is totally futile. There's nothing to talk about the fear, how I felt fear, how I saw the tiger coming in near me, how I thought he was going to kill me. The person is not going to talk about it. Okay? Asat kalpo vikalpoyam vishwamitteka vastuni nirvikare nirakare nirvisheshe bhidakutaha. The second line will be repeated like Gurudev has written. Acharya Shankara in a few verses is advising and indicating to us the total non-existence, atyanta asatvatvam of plurality. Means even now there is no plurality. This is what now he's going to hammer into us. In the one reality, the conception of the universe is a mere fancy. How can there be any diversity in the changeless, the formless, the absolute? So this question it's a rhetorical question. The answer is no. It is like, Upadesh Sar, Raman Maharshi has asked, karma kim param karma tajjadam. He's asking, karma is inert. How do you consider karma to be supreme? Answer is no. You cannot say yes. This is the same way. It says that anything, any multiplicity, any plurality you see is only apparent. That's why we are not saying it is false. It is apparent. It is an appearance. An appearance is that which is appearing at one point in time and will not be there at a certain other point of time. So real, the definition of real being, that which does not change in the 3 periods of time. Whatever you see in this universe is changing, constantly changing. And the changing is being perceived or is perceivable because of the changeless factor. We need to draw our attention to the changeless factor. And even now, because sometimes people have this idea that I will get moksha. There is nothing to get. When you say get, it is something which you don't have. Okay, I don't have a house, I will get a house. I don't have a job, I'll get a job. I don't have a child, I will get a child. So get is, when you say get, it is something which I don't have. But moksha we already have. We are already liberated. The only thing is to recognize it. Recognize. We have forgotten. That's why in chapter 18, Arjun will say, now very soon we'll be starting by January, we should be able to start that. Arjun will say, I have gained my memory. Smrutir labdhva, he says. He doesn't say, oh, I got moksha. He doesn't say, he says, I regained my memory. That who I am, who I really am. I thought I was this grandson and disciple and whatnot, but now I know that I am that changeless Atma. I recognize it. So that's why, and which is, there is no, in this satkalpa or vikalpa, there is no thought actually. There is no diversity in this entire universe. And it is even now, it is not there. So we must understand that moksha is ours already, but we don't know it. It's a matter of ignorance. It is not a matter of karma. That's why karma cannot give moksha. That is the reason. Because karma can give you something which you don't have. Karma cannot give you something which you already have. What will give you what you already have is knowledge. In Atma Bodh, Bhagavan Shankaracharya gives the example of the necklace, hara, kantahara, which the lady is wearing in her neck, and she's going all over the place searching for it. Where is my necklace? Where is my necklace? Then somebody says, oh, look in your own neck. Or modern day example is you wear your glasses on your head and you're looking everywhere for them. And then somebody comes and says, look at on your head. They're right there on your head. Or keys in your pocket. You put keys in the pocket because it's already there with you. So no karma is required. Knowledge is required. So you need somebody to tell you, Arey, your keys are in your pocket. Your glasses are on your head. Your necklace is in your neck. That's all that is required. Okay. दृष्टदर्शन दृश्यादि भावशून्यैक वस्तुनि निर्विकारे निराकारे निर्विशेषे भिदाकुतः. In the one reality, which is without the seer, the seeing and the seen, etc., the triad, which is the changeless, formless, absolute, how can there be any diversity? So the second line again is the same, like as a nirvikara. So there is no change. We have seen that the substratum is always changeless. Because it is changeless, we can experience the changes. Think about your own self. There is something changeless within me, which is telling me that my body has changed so much. My mind has changed so much. The intellect has changed so much. Nirakara, akara, no form. If Brahman had any kind of form, it would not support the other forms. Please remember, if we said Brahman is round, then it cannot support the square form. So it has to be formless. Infinity has to be formless because form has boundaries. So if you say that Brahman has form, then you have put a boundary on that Brahman. And once you put a boundary, there can be something else other than Brahman on the other side of that boundary. Like this wall, this space, we put this wall, and now on the other side is a bedroom. Because I put the wall up there, because the wall is there. Okay. So that way, therefore, space has no boundaries. But if we imagine the boundaries by putting walls. So even in Brahman, we imagine boundaries by superimposing this body on top of the pure self. Okay. Nirvisheshe, there is no qualities. Vishesh, there is no Visheshana, there is no gunas, there is no good. You can't say good Brahman, bad Brahman, doctor Brahman, engineer Brahman. There's nothing like that. Okay. Now, this in that one reality, this triad is not there. So here he gives the seer, seen, seeings, which is Drik Drish Viveka. I don't know how many of you have studied that text with me. There is a text by Swami Vidyaranya called Drik Drish Viveka. Viveka, I told you there are many, many types of Viveka. Sadhana Sadhya is there, Ansha is there, Sat Asat is there. Drik Drisha is one of them. The seer and the seen. So what is seen is apparent and the seer alone is real. And that, the triad in this thing, normal, we see, I am the knower, this object is the known, and there is a knowing or an experiencer, experienced, and the experiencing. This triad is always there in duality. In this universe, this triad is all, as long as I consider myself to be the subject and something else to be an object, this triad will be there. In that changeless, formless substratum, the triad is not there. There is no triad. There is only one, Brahman. Okay. The seeing and the seen. Bhava shunyaika vastuni, bhava shunya, there is the zero triad is there. There is no triad in the, because there is only one. For triad, three things are required, right? If I say triad, then there has to be a subject, there has to be an object, and that subject object, there has to be some sort of a connection. So the subject must be either seeing the object or hearing the object or tasting the object or smelling the object or touching the object. So something has to be there in between. Then a triad is formed. But there is no object, there is only seer. So how can the third thing come? Experiencing come? It can't. कल्पार्णव इवात्यंत परिपूर्णैक वस्तुनि निर्विकारे निराकारे निर्विशेषे भिदाकुतः. In that one reality which is all pervading and motionless, like the ocean after the dissolution of the universe, which is the changeless, formless absolute, how can there be any diversity? So Kalpa Arnava is ocean, all pervading, which is all motionless, like the ocean. See, if the entire world is dissolved into the ocean, if there is only that ocean, which is only like space, you can imagine, ocean is only there, changeless. There is no variety in that. Then in that sort of a thing, after the dissolution of the universe, how can you say that Brahman is like that ocean? This same feeling, Kalparnava Ivantyanta Paripurnaika Vastuni, we experience this in deep sleep every night. In deep sleep, do you experience any multiplicity, any diversity, any thought? Right? When you fall asleep, even if you're getting the worst headache, or if you have a fever, or if you have so many worries, maybe deadlines, once you fall asleep, then all those they disappear. So Brahman is like that. Of course, in deep sleep, we don't have the knowledge, but Brahman is like that vast ocean. Next, I think he's going to give the example of if that ocean, just rises and then freezes. Stillness. So this is what he's saying. In the deluge where there is water, this is how can there be any distinction? This example, chapter 2, Bhagwan has given in Bhagavad Gita, saying that where there is, if a village is just totally flooded with water, then where is there any distinction? You will not know that, oh, this is a well or this was a house. And now hurricane has come, right? That Ian has come. Fiona came. So if everything went under the waters in the deluge, then you can't tell that my house was here, my office was here, whatever. Everything is now water only. Everything is submerged in water. So like that, Brahman there is no distinction in Brahman. That is what is being hammered. Okay. All right. So far, so good. We have seen these ideas before. Tejasivatamu yatra pralinam bhranti karanam advitiye pare tattve nirvisheshe bhidakutaha. How can there be any diversity in the supreme reality, which is non-dual and absolute, where the very root of delusion dissolves like darkness into light? So this supreme reality, he says, these are all, he's asking question, the same question he's asking over and over, and all the answer is no. It's a rhetorical question. So Tejasiva Tamo Yatra. Once light comes, the darkness totally dissolves. Okay. This in the supreme reality, whatever that I am seeing as different, as diverse, as many, is Bhranti Karanam. So Bhranti, delusion, wrong thinking. Because I am not using my third eye of intelligence to look at the objects. I'm only using my eyes or my senses. Whatever the senses tell us, it is not true. It is not false. It is false. So if the senses are telling me that there is a computer here and that computer is separate from you, from me, it is false. Immediately I should know that. This is the senses are telling me. What is my intellect telling me? That the existence principle in the computer and the existence principle in me is one and the same. And in between this computer and me, where I say there is nothing, I forget that I have said is. There is nothing. So the isness is there. So the existence is there supporting this body. Existence is supporting the nothingness in between. And that same existence is supporting the computer, which is in front of me. And that is what my attention should be fixed on. If my attention is fixed on there, then how is there this, how do you see the difference? Because there is only one existence. There is not 2-3 different existences. Existence principle is only one. So if my attention is there, but if my attention is not there, then definitely I'm going to keep seeing on differences. Okay. Advitiya pare tatve. Well, who is saying this? Upanishad is saying that. Advitiya, one without a second. Absolutely not. So when I say there is something other than me, it has to be a delusion. It is because of delusion. It is because of wrong thinking. It is because I am giving more importance to my senses. In Bhagavad Gita, also in chapter 2, we saw one verse which says, Bhagavan says there, Bhagavan Shankaracharya's commentary says that, see, there are many means of knowledge. Okay. But there, in that means of knowledge, there is superior means and inferior means, primary and secondary means. So primary means is the sense organs, because direct perception is there, right? With the eyes, immediately I see something. With the ears, immediately I hear something. But then there is something which is higher than the senses, which is my intellect. So if the intellect is telling me something else, then I must go with the intellect and not with the senses. That is what it is. So when I put a pencil in a beaker of water and my eyes are telling me that the pencil is crooked, the pencil is crooked, then I must go with the intellect, which is telling me, no, 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 it is only physics, laws of physics, that refraction, refraction, laws of refraction, that the pencil is appearing to be bent, but is really not bent. Then at that point, I must go with the superior means of intellect. And to recognize Brahman, we need that superior means of intellect, because Brahman can never be perceived by the senses, because it is not an object. Okay, and we are so used to getting knowledge with the senses that it's very hard for us to invoke that third eye. And the third eye will become sharpened when the mind gets purified. So the mind originally has to be purified, and the mind will get purified with karma yoga. So again, we come back to that basic thing. That's how you will have, you will proceed. Okay. I've underlined one line in the second paragraph here. In the infinite consciousness, there is neither the perceiver, nor the feeler, nor the thinker. He's talking about the chart. The OET, BMI, OET, and then PFT, perceiver, feeler, thinker. So that dichotomy is not there. That triad is not there in Om. That's why Om is only one, and then it just splits out. Ekatmake pare tatve bhedavartha katham vaset sushuptau sukhamatrayam bhedakenavalokitaha. In the one, the supreme reality, how can there be any talk of diversity? Who can ever observe any diversity in the total bliss of deep sleep? Again, he brings in deep sleep. These three states are extremely important as a point of study, because the rishis actually studied these three states, because that is what they knew, na? That's why Vedanta doesn't need any external instrument. You know, in physics, you need a microscope, you need a telescope, you need this, you need that. Chemistry, you need whatever. For Vedanta, you don't need anything external, because it is a science of the self. It is you yourself. So we need to only think about what I am experiencing. So what am I experiencing? I'm awake, then I fall asleep, I go into deep sleep, and then once in a while I have a dream. That's all. Those three states we have. Okay. Now, I also know that in deep sleep, I was so worried about what was going to happen. But once I fell asleep, I did not worry at all. Or I might even have a dream where, everything was all fine and dandy. And so that is what is known to us. Okay. We always have to go from known to unknown. Now we know these three states, and then we should start thinking, how do I know that I had that dream? So I was asleep, my mind was asleep, but yet in the morning I have memory of the dream. I have memory that I slept. So there's got to be somebody who was there. I may not know who it is, but this is how this thinking, we have to learn to rethink, because for many, many births, we are thinking in one way. Now we have to rethink. So we have to train our mind to think in this way. And this is where Upanishads help us. This is the method. This is one of the methods. So they say, the three states. So the answer has to be yes. Nobody can say, I don't know the waking state. What is deep sleep state? Nobody can say that. And you don't need any book or instrument to tell you that these three states are there. Correct? You need somebody to tell you. Do you get up in the morning and then do you stand in front? Then oh, I am Jaya. Or do you inherently know who you are? That's why you don't need anything for Vedanta. So thinking, but thinking is very important. Once Guruji had told us, apparently you can stay without food for weeks, even months maybe. Then without water for weeks, but without thinking, he said, you can live forever. We've been living forever without thinking. Now we need to think. What is this? What are these three states? Where? So that's why this ekatma ke pare tatve. Now we can say that, okay, deep sleep is Brahman or what? No, because when you wake up, your worry is there. Whatever misery you had, you had sorrow, whatever joy you had, it is there. It is not gone. Because now next topic, it's going to come further, the characteristics of a realized master, which we have also seen in Bhagavad Gita. But that is why this deep sleep is not there. So there has to be something other than these three states, and that is Turiya, and that is beyond. That is the one who is a witness of the waking, dream, and deep sleep state. And I am that. That is the next step. One thing is to know that there is something other than the three states. And the second thing is to establish. So there is Anvay Vyatireka. So the Vyatireka negation, Anvaya assertion. So you negate the three states by saying that there was somebody else who knew all these three states. That's why I have the memory. I have the memory of what happened yesterday. Yesterday, I had a waking state, and I remember what happened yesterday. I remember that I went to sleep at this particular time. I was in deep sleep. Then I remember that there was a dream, whatever that may be. And then who is this? How is this that I remember? Because the dreamer is negated in the deep sleep. The deep sleeper is negated in the waking state. So I cannot be the deep sleeper, I cannot be the dreamer, and I cannot be the waker, because the waker is negated in the other two states. So if each state is getting negated in the other two states, that means it cannot be real, because the definition of real is that which is not changing in the three periods of time. This is how we need to think. So that is something else. This is Vyatireka. Anvay Vyatireka is very common method. We have to know this. This is Vyatireka. So then there is something else. Then, okay, there is that it is not to be, oh, there is something else outside there which remembers. No, because nobody else outside told you what you dreamt. You yourself knew. So that whatever that fourth thing is there, whatever entity, it's you only. And then you assert, I am that, and I'm not the waker, I'm not the dreamer, I'm not the deep sleeper. So in that, these three things are not there. If these three things are not there, there is no diversity. Okay? Sushupta sukha matrayam. There, deep sleep, Sukhamatrayam. It is bliss. In deep sleep, it is bliss, right? We are in bliss. But ignorance is there. So this is how you do, they do the thinking. Nayasti vishvam paratatva sadatmani brahmani nirvikalpe kalatrayenapyahirikshito gune nayam bubindu mrugatrushnikayam. Even before realization of the supreme truth, the universe does not exist in the absolute Brahman, the quintessence of existence. Never in the 3 periods of time is the snake in the rope, nor a drop of water in the mirage. So this is what I told you, that moksha is not something which you will get. You are already that absolute self. Even now, when I think that I am this limited body and I have got so many sorrows and I have got so many joys, I am still that absolute Satchit Ananda without any this thing. Kalatre na api ikshito gune. Like in the 3 states of time, Kalatre, 3 periods of time, the snake was never there. Even before you entered the room, the snake was not there. Even when you saw the snake was not there. And when the snake disappeared, then the snake was not there. So the snake was never there. It was only the rope. Same way, this world, it never was, it never is, it never will be, because it is an appearance alone. That has to be realized. That's why we have to understand that even now this world is an illusion. That's why it is called as the Dirgha Swapna, long dream. We are all dreaming, and therefore we think all this is real, because all of us are in a big dream. And only one, one rare one gets that liberation. And then he has compassion for the people who are dreaming. And then the one who has compassion comes back to tell us, like Gurudev, Swami Vivekananda. Then there are other people who say, this is all an illusion, what to tell? They go away, Raman Maharshi, Tapan Maharaj, they said, it's okay. And many, actually, there are more Mahatmas who have actually, they are in the Himalayas, and they just went away. They didn't do anything. There are very few of them who have come back and taught. Very few. There are more who have realized and left and gone, and they never came back. This is an illusion. What is there to teach? Who to teach? There is no you and me, because teaching means there is a presupposition that there is a disciple and then there is a guru. But not that these masters who are teaching are not realized. Swami Vivekananda, no, they are realized, but they have that compassion. So they say, okay, let me try to wake them up from the dream in which they are. I have woken up. Let me see if somebody else will wake up. And that's what. And there is no ulterior motive. Not like that person will then thank me, and nothing like that. Just out of compassion. Apar karuna is there. Okay. So understand that that's why he says in the 3 periods, there was never the snake and there was never the water in the mirror. Even when you saw the water, when you ran towards it, there was no water. There was no water. Okay. Maya matramidam dvaitam advaitam paramarthataha iti brute shruti sakshat sushuptamanubhuyate. The scriptures directly declare that all duality is nothing but Maya. The reality alone is the absolute truth. Such also is the experience in deep sleep. So Bhagavan is now concluding by saying that this is not what I am saying. This is what Shruti is saying, Vedas are saying. And I think he's given this thing is that from this, declare. Kathopanishad, Bradharanakopanishad, Mundakopanishad, Chandogyopanishad, Mandukya Karika. You go to any Upanishad, the exact same thing is said. There is nothing, this thing. So this Maya matram idam, this, I told you, there is aham, me, and idam. This idam is Maya matra. Maya sama iti Maya. That which is not is Maya. That's the definition of Maya. So Maya is delusion. It is illusion. And so this is Maya Matram. Idam Maya Matram. It is only an appearance. It is only an illusion in the transactional world. Please remember that you play the part in the illusion. Like Shakespeare said, you have a role to play. You go on the stage, you play the role. So we also have been put into this world to play some sort of role. We must play the role to the best of our ability. Okay. But in my mind, in your mind, we must know that I am playing a role. It's like an actor. He goes in one play, he's given the role of a king. Immediately in the next play, the director, same director says, you know what? I need a beggar. Now you become a beggar. Now that person, in his mind, he knows that neither is he the king, nor is he the beggar. He's only that person, or husband, or father of two, or whatever. So that way, for us in life, okay, I am a mother of two. I should know that's a role, the role of a mother. In next birth, I might become something else. It's a role that I have to play. These two children are given to me. I must take care of them to the best of my ability. I must. Whatever role is assigned should be played to the best of your ability, knowing that it is only a role. What happens to us? We get caught up in the role. If that actor were to play a role of a king and then come out, and then he will tell all his, the other actors, hey, you know what? I'm a king. Now you guys bow out of the stage. If he says, you guys have to salute to me and treat me like a king, it's not going to work. That way, we must go out in the world. We play. Yes, I'm the mother. I'm an employer. I'm employee. I'm the boss. I'm the co-worker, team leader, whatever role is there, teacher. I play and then I come back. That's why Guruji has given outside drama, inside drama. Inside drama, we should not forget. Know that this is a drama that is going on, this entire world, and know that this drama is to be played so that I can get out of the drama permanently. So you play the role of a wife, play the role of a mother, play the role of a friend, enemy, whatever role is assigned to you, you play. Leela, that's why Bhagwan's all whatever Bhagwan Shri Krishna did, why is it called Leela? Leela is play. He was playing. He said, okay, I'm taking birth. Therefore he said, even though unborn, people, you think I'm born. Okay, chalo, no problem. You can think. You think I'm growing. Okay, no problem. I am not growing. I am not modifying. I am not born, and I will not die. And no action binds me. That should be our attitude. I am born, so I'll play that role. I was born as a daughter of somebody. Okay, fine. Then I became a wife. I became a mother. Okay, fine. But inside, I am neither. I'm not born. I'm not a daughter. I'm not a mother. I'm not anybody. But that has to be kept only inside. Outside in the transactional world, you play the role. Play. What is there? Be an actor. That's why Maya Matram Idam. Dvaitam. Dvaitam is Maya Matra. Advaitam Paramarthata. Advaitam. What is real is Advaita. There is no diversity. There is only one. That is what is real. Paramartha is Advaita. Dvaita is Maya Matra. Okay. Iti brute Shruti. This is what Shruti is saying. I am not saying. Shruti is saying. I told you in Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan always says, they say, it is my opinion. The wise people say, like that he talks. He doesn't say, I'm the one that came up with this theory. He doesn't say. He's also playing a role. He knows that. That's the problem. He is playing a role. He knows he's playing. We are playing a role, but we don't know that. We've taken this role to be absolutely real. Remember that we have gone through many, many births, and God knows what all roles we have played and what all roles we have yet to play. So if you want to get out of this role playing, understand. Maya Matram Idam Dvaitam. Even this much, if you remember, finish. That is the whole principle of Advaita. Okay. Sakshat Sushupta Vanubhuyate. Again, the sleeping state he brings. these are the three states that have been studied by the rishis. I told you. That's why Vedanta is, you are the proof of Vedanta. You yourself are. You don't need book, you don't need Shruti. You don't need, because it's the mind. Nisargadatta Maharaj couldn't read. He never studied Upanishad, he never studied Bhagavad Gita. It's not required. We require it. You know why? Neither do we have complete faith, nor do we have complete knowledge. We have only this wicked logic. So we go on asking questions, go on asking, then we need the book. Then we need a teacher to tell us what is right, what is wrong. This is what he's saying here. A delusory, I've underlined the last line, a delusory nothingness is the world of plurality. A delusory nothingness. It's delusory. Okay, the next topic is, any questions so far? Everybody okay? All right. So now what this contemplation is all about is, see, there are some schools of philosophy. What they say is, they say Advaita is there, but they say Dvaita also is there. There is Dvaita, and then you transcend the Dvaita and go into Advaita. So what they're doing is they're giving reality to Dvaita. Okay, it is real. And then you can, Advaita is there too. It's like, okay, Vancouver is there. Calgary is also there. Okay, so from Vancouver, you go to Calgary. They said Dvaita is there. You transcend Dvaita, you go to Advaita. Now here Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, no, Dvaita is not there at all. That is the difference between philosophies. Okay, he says, no, even when you see Dvaita, there is no Dvaita. There is no duality. You see it, yes, but it is not there. This is the Atma Vichar or contemplation that we'll be doing. I will read this verse, first verse, and then next time we'll continue. Ananyatvamadhishtanat aropyasya nirikshitam panditairajju sarpadau vikalpo bhranti jivanaha. The wise have observed that the superimposition is identical with its substratum, just as the rope and the snake. The difference exists only because of delusion. So that's why he says the wise, this is observed, nirikshitam, this is their observation. See, in a superimposition, one thing we have to understand, that if the rope is 5 feet long, you cannot see the snake to be 10 feet. You cannot. And neither can you see the snake to be only 1 foot. There is the superimposition, partial superimposition doesn't happen. It is a complete superimposition. So if this rope is 5 feet long, 10 feet long, 15 feet long, that much snake you will see. You will see the 5-foot snake or the 10-foot. You will neither see it less, nor will you see it more than the rope. And therefore, as long as your perception goes in this world, know that the substratum is also equally big. Like if you look beyond the solar system and the stars and the black hole and the galaxies and wherever you perceive, whatever you perceive, supreme reality is there. The substratum is there, exact same like this, whatever that you see. See, in our limited vision, we only see little here. But then people have got telescopes, and now they are looking into, into the moon and Mars and this and that, whatever. Now we know the 9 planets going around the sun, and now they're saying there are other galaxies. There are so many solar systems. There are so many suns. There are so many moons. There are so many planets. Whatever that you see, the substratum is that much. It cannot be, the superimposition cannot be less, nor can it be more. Now, in Purusha Sukta also, but we have studied that what Bhagavan is saying there is that I extend, whatever that you perceive, I extend, plus I extend more. Means that part we are unable to even see. There's something more also there, but superimposition. But we are unable to see. So this is what he's saying. The superimposition is identical with its substratum. Means it is not even an inch less or an inch more. Exact same. The silver, you will see the silver only as the size of the shell, not this thing. Not like a huge silver piece there, and the shell is so small. Nothing like that. Or half the shell only shining. Not like this. So therefore, this Dvaita is not there at all. The superimposition is not there at all. There is only the substratum, which is there. It has no, and you cannot have a superimposition without a substratum. That is where the Buddhist school differs from us, because Shunyavadins say that the world is an illusion, but there is nothing. There's no substratum, they say. There's Shunya. And we say, Vedanta says that yes, the world is an illusion, but there has to be a substratum. There cannot be, it's like saying the movie, you see it in the air without a screen. Can you ever see a movie without a screen? Some sort of screen has to be there, or the wall has to be there, white wall. Something has to be there. This is what it is. Okay. We'll stop here today and we'll continue. So next Friday, there will be class, okay? Even though it's a long weekend, but the class is there. All right, everybody okay? And I don't know if Trupti, are you aware of how Dinesh used to put these lectures on YouTube?
No idea, absolutely.
No idea, nah? Huh? Are you going to be the backup for Vinita for the Friday class then?
I don't know, because I just landed up. I still have to talk to Dinesh and find out and talk to Vinita. Okay. I have no idea how it is to be done.
Did Nitya say she would be the backup? Do you have a backup? We need a backup for Vinita, na? Why don't you talk to Dinesh?
Yeah, I'll talk to him.
Yeah,
this weekend.
And I hope you had a good flight back. She just came back from India, so now she's joining us. Otherwise, she was joining us from there. Okay. Yeah. So I'll see you on Sunday, anyways.
Yeah.
Okay. Om swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha gobrahmanebhya shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasya shalini desho yam kshovarahita brahmana santu nirbhayaha Om sarvesham swasti bhavatu sarvesham shantir bhavatu sarvesham purnam bhavatu sarvesham mangalam bhavatu sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramayaha sarve bhadrani Pashyantu ma kaschid dukha bhag bhavet Om asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya Om purnamadav purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate purnasya purnamadaya purnameva avashishyate Om shanti 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 harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Hari Om, everybody. I'll see you next Friday.
Jayaji, you have a class tomorrow at the mission?
I have a class in the mission, yes. In person, 10 to 11.
Okay, I might
at the